Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm finally going through the budget for our renovation for our house. Even though it's not completely finished yet, there are only a few things that are really missing, and it's mostly furniture. So I think it's a good time that we can go through all the budget that we have spent on the renovation itself. So let's get into the video. For me to properly explain all the budget that we spent, because it's a bit of a difficult one, we have had half of the budget that we paid to someone to do the house, and the other half is what we actually spent ourselves to finish it. So I think to explain it properly, we'll have to go back to where we started. We hired someone, a contractor, that would do the work for us. We got a few quotes from different contractors and different companies. The usual rule for them all is to pay 50% up front, and that's what we did. So the quote that we went for was quoted at almost 20,000 for the whole house that we have, for all the works, including all the materials, including the windows, kitchen, all the bathroom taps and everything like that was included, and of course all the work. And then he would hire whoever he needs, someone to do the plumbing, someone to do the electrics, and so on. So since we paid the 50% upfront, which was around 10,000, it was 9,900, I think, something like that. Just for you to understand how much that money stretched, I will try to go through the quote on what was quoted and what actually they did for that money. So the first things that they did were the demolitions of. We had one full wall taken out and two larger openings in another two walls. So, and there was a lot of old tiles to take off in all of the kitchen and the bathroom, and then the kitchen floor was like a very thick stone tile. So there was a lot of demolitions, and according to the quote that was given to us, the demolitions cost 3,600. And that includes also the hiring the skips to take all that rubbish away. So for the demolitions we spent 3,600. Then the next step was to do the pipes, the water pipes and all the sewage. So we redid all of that. We didn't have a lot of change in the location of where would the water supply and the sewage go in the bathroom. Nothing there was changed. There was only new pipes put into place. In the kitchen we had a little bit of change, but again it's not something that had to be carried through a completely different room or something like that. So I don't feel like there was that much going on, but we had all the new pipes and all the sewage, and also the new connection through outside that was connecting to the water supply. So that was quoted for us for 930, which was finished as well in the end. The next step was electricity. Electricity, we had rewiring almost all of the house. I think originally they were planning to rewire only part of the house, which was the living room, kitchen and the bathroom, but the two bedrooms would stay as they were. But I think we ended up rewiring the master bedroom as well. So in this electrical rewiring was quoted at 1,280, and that was rewiring. It was adding a lot of new plugs, because this house had only like one plug per room. That also included the electrical box, all new. We didn't have any rewiring with the lights. There, all the lights stayed where they are and there were no new lights added, so that was not part of the cost, part of the work. And just wanted to add that electricity was not completely finished for us. We ended up spending 100 euros more to finish off, to actually connect all the plugs together, get all the lights working. So there was still 100 euros that we spent on buying all the sockets and all the switches. So yeah, 1,280 was what they quoted us, plus 100 that we actually spent on ourselves on top of that to finish it off. The next part was plastering. So when it all was done, they started closing all the holes, which was a lot of holes, and started plastering. The plastering, they quoted us for 1,220, which was only plastering the living room and the kitchen and the bathroom, because the 2 bedrooms were not really touched that much on the walls, only maybe just around the near the floor where there's some new sockets were in place. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And only other thing that was a bit more difficult was we had these crown moldings in the corners of near the corner of the ceiling, so that was a bit of a tricky one. Yeah, that was what they quoted us, was 1,220. They didn't finish it completely. If you don't know the story of why is it not finished and why is it only partly like that, then you can go back to some other videos that we explain and what happened with the builders that we hired. So it didn't end up well. We ended up having to fire them at some point, so that's why some of the things are not quite finished and we had to finish them ourselves. Yeah, so with the plastering, they didn't quite finish it, but we didn't end up spending any more money on it because they left plenty of material for us to finish, so there was no more money spent on that. And then the bathroom, the tiles itself that we chose, we calculated that was around 200 euros. It's a very small area of tiles that we did. It's only a floor and only the shower area, plus some work. They only really in the bathroom they did the tiling. They installed the toilet and they installed the shower base. The shower base was 200, the toilet was I think 100 euros. So that is 500 is the part that they did. We unfortunately had to fire them in the middle of the bathroom renovation because of various reasons. There were very bad tile work and all that included. So we had to take over at that point. So to go through again the quote that they did, we paid them 9,900, something around that. And then from the work that they did, we calculated together. Not just us, he himself, who we hired, he came over after we already had fired them, to agree if he owes us any money, and he himself also calculated to the same amount that they actually have spent 7,530 from the quote, and we all together agreed that he owes us around 2,000 something still, which we still haven't received still to this day, and I really doubt we will ever see that money. But I am including it into this budget video because that is the money we spent. Those 2,500 is something we have spent, so for us it was an expense. If we ever get it back, good, but I highly doubt it we will ever get that money. So yeah, that is the first part which was done by them. And now we will get into what we did and where we started and how much money we spent further. When we took over, one of the first things we were doing, we were finishing off the plastering. But as I said, that didn't cost us any much more money except a few tools. But I am not including any tools that we have bought in this video, really, except some maybe painting rollers and things like that. We had to buy a lot of new tools and to finish it off. So I'm not including those expenses in this video. One of the first expense that we did was the brick glass windows that we put in, and it was actually really cheap, even though it was an awful and really hard work. It was actually really cheap. It only cost us about 60 euros. The glass bricks are quite cheap. It was, I think, €1 something per the glass, and yeah, we did it all ourselves, so that was quite cheap for us. The next thing that we did after we finished with the plastering and sanding all the walls, we painted. Paint cost us around 500 euros, and that was a paint for all of the house walls and ceilings and the bathroom. And as you may know, the bathroom we had to buy another extra paint, so all of that is included in there. We did go with the branded paint from Sin and Sin Paints, and we really are happy that we went that way. I'm not saying that other paints are bad or anything like that, but this was really worth the money. I'm sure that you could get a lot cheaper paint for the house, that the amount that we did, if you would buy in Leroy, in one of their brands, but we went with this, and we are really happy that we actually spent that bit more money in there. But I can just say that probably is something that you could have done cheaper. The next thing that we did is flooring. All together it came about 1,000 euros. That's including all the leveling compound that we bought. We bought like 5 or 6 bags of that, the underlayer and the flooring that we bought, which was flooring I think cost 12 euros per square meter, something like that. So yeah, all together, all of that for the floor, and also actually including skirting boards that we ended up putting as well. And all together that was about 1,000 euros. And the next thing that we did was kitchen. We got kitchen from IKEA. Kitchen itself, not including all the appliances, was around 2,000 euros. But that is really quite a small kitchen. There is only upper cabinets on one side, laminate countertop, so it's not marble or any kind of stone, anything expensive like that. But the appliances, we had a lot of integrated appliances like fridge, dishwasher, hob, oven, all of those things were integrated, and those came up together with 2,000 euros as well. So all together for the kitchen we paid around 4,000 euros, which again, it is one of those things that it depends on what people want. It could be cheaper, it could be more expensive. Like for instance, the upper cabinet doors that we have were a lot more expensive than the lower cabinet doors. And if you would really want to save money, you could just choose something cheaper there, or not have integrated appliances. Or again, if you wanted to have something more better quality, like marble countertops or stone or quartz countertops, then again that would be a lot more expensive than what we spent. And then we have a bathroom. As I said, the bathroom was halfly done by the contractors we hired and half by us. What we ended up paying together was what we spent and what they quoted us and they spent is about 1,100. So give or take about that amount is what we spent for our bathroom. But again, our bathroom is really simple. It's very small. There is only tiles in the shower area and on the floor. The rest is painted. There is only toilet and shower base and the glass, and the vanity unit is quite cheap as well from IKEA. The next thing was the windows. So we changed all of the windows in our house and added one glass door. So we have 4 windows, of which one is bigger and one is a smaller bathroom window, and we have this one glass double door, and we have shutters on 3 of the windows because the 2 others are opening to actually another room. So that all together cost us around 3,000, and we went with the aluminum shutters and PVC double glazed windows, which actually were quite a good brands. So I think 3,000 for all of that is quite good price. Yeah, we are really happy with our windows so far. Then internal doors, we haven't fitted them yet, but because we've been waiting for the hinges to arrive for ages, but we have bought them all already, so we know how much that cost. And doors all together cost us 400 euros, but we only have 3 interior doors, and they're only really plain white, nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated. And the last thing that we spent money on was the installing of air conditioner. The aircon units that we have was actually left from the previous owners. So what we have is one outside unit and that splits into 2 indoor units. And what we had to do was, they were in completely different rooms from what we wanted them to be. So we had to move the outdoor unit to a completely different location, and both indoor units also completely different place. So it all needed new pipes, new copper pipes, new electricity pulled through. The outdoor box needed to servicing, new gas, all that, and filters I think on the indoor units as well. So all of that was done, and it cost us 490, which it is quite expensive, but we really didn't have any other quotes done for this, to be honest, and I'm not quite sure how much that costs with any other company, but the one that we did was 490, so that's what we ended up paying, and they were fine, so we're happy with that. So that is, I think, everything that we spent. Obviously there are lots of miscellaneous costs that we probably have forgotten about and haven't included into this. All together, from what I calculated, going through from the money that we have spent, comes together to around 22,000, and that is also including the 2,500 that the contractor still owes us, but because we haven't got that money back, that still counts as our expense. But if you are looking for reference to cost, then maybe you can take those 2,000 out of this budget. For what we have done, I think it's a pretty decent budget, and yeah, we are happy that we haven't spent much more than that, which were actually quoted in a lot of other quotes a lot more than this. And I believe that if everything would have gone okay with the contractors that we hired, they quoted us at nearly 20,000, and that didn't include a lot of things, like I think they didn't include the interior doors, and it didn't include the flooring in the bedrooms, and I think it would have ended up being pretty similar cost, or maybe even more. So I'm happy that with the budget that we have spent. So yeah, that is how much this all cost us. There's obviously furniture to still to buy and maybe some other things that we haven't thought about, but that is something that isn't usually included in the renovation budget itself. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and thank you for watching this video. Hope it was helpful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.